guys, it's Casey, and today you are going to watch me pack up all of my books. So I am moving at the end of this week, and I need to pack up all of my bookshelves, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to pack up everything. Hopefully, like 8 boxes is enough. And while I'm doing it, I figured this would be a good time to do an unhaul. Now, I am not historically very good at unhauls. I think I've done one in the entire year that I've had this channel, and I really struggle to let go of books. But I also don't want to move all of these because it's going to be absurdly heavy. So as I'm going through and putting all of them in boxes, I'm going to pull out the ones that I don't think I'm going to keep around, and then show you guys which ones I'm going to be unhauling at the end of this video. But other than that, I just need something to do and someone to keep me company while I pack up these books, otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. So let's go. I wish I had better spatial awareness. It is infuriating that these boxes are like not quite 2 books wide, so I have to do awkward stacking, and I'm not good at that. With your foot and your hip pops, but the box doesn't move, I think that's a bad sign. My strategy is to put the hardcovers in the smaller boxes so that maybe they're not quite as heavy. I don't know if it's working. I messed up slightly because all of my textbooks are still out there and they should have gone in the smaller boxes. So that's fun. I hate moving. Take a break to get more boxes. Okay, and now we're just gonna stuff the rest of these full of blankets and pillows and clothes and other really light things. So once that's done, we'll talk about the unhaul. Don't look at that yet. Spoilers. That was exhausting. So I finally got them all packed up, so we're just gonna sit among the boxes and talk about the ones that I am going to unhaul. This is in literally no order. I just picked up the stacks off of my bed and we're gonna talk about them. Starting off with honestly like one of the spiciest ones in here, and that's gonna be Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I gave this 4 or 3, closer to 3, I don't remember what I actually gave it, 3 stars. I read it last year and I liked it. Like, I'm not getting rid of this one because I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I don't see myself rereading it anytime soon. And it's a mass market. And to be honest, I'm getting rid of this mostly for aesthetic purposes because I don't love mass market paperbacks. It's just, they don't look as good as my shelves, and if I'm not going to reread it, it's probably not worth keeping. Let's just go ahead and get the like 4 mass markets I'm getting rid of out of the way. And so the other one is going to be The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. So this is a classic sci-fi novel that I read last year. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I liked the ideas that it presented, but it was not the most entertaining, so I don't think I'm going to reread it. And again, it's a mass market, so if I did want to get the Hainish Cycle, which I think is the name of this series of like companion novels that she's written, I probably want to get them in kind of a set or like in nicer non-mass market forms. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. So this is one that I read in like a day. I actually really enjoyed this one, but it's a thriller. I really don't see myself rereading it. It's not the kind of thing I'm reaching for now, and mass market. explains itself. And the last mass market is another sci-fi, and that is The Long Earth by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. So while I do want to read more Terry Pratchett, I mostly want to read the Discworld series. I really don't know what this is about. This is a sci-fi I picked up completely randomly back when I was in high school. It might be good, I have no idea, but mass market, I found it used in like hardbacks and paperbacks before, so honestly, if I find out that the series is amazing and I really want to read it, I'm gonna get it in that form, but right now this is like one of the lowest priority things on my shelves, so there's no reason for me to have it. Next we have The Yiddish Policeman's Union by Michael Chabon, and this is a book that I got from like an online book club that I was in, and I think it's a dystopian. It's not my genre, it's not my bag, I have no interest in really reading this, so it's gonna go. Which is a shame because it's pretty and it's got these deckled edges, but it's so low priority. I had to make cuts because I could not buy more boxes than I already have. Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. This is a YA fantasy book about this girl who does something unspeakable. It involves dragons and she's sent to a convent, but instead decides to run away, I think. This is a YA fantasy that I haven't heard great reviews of. I got it because I think I found it used for like dirt cheap, but I have no interest in reading this anymore. Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jenny Han. I got this again on I think like a book outlet order a couple years ago when I was trying to qualify for free shipping. I don't really shop with book outlet anymore. And this is the third book in the series and I just didn't notice that, and I really don't care that much about YA contemporary romance to go back and get the first two, so bye. The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. I read this last June for a like book club I was doing with my mom and my sister. Actually, a couple of these in this Unhaul are from that, so whoops. I read this, I tabbed it up, I annotated it, I had a lot to say about it at the time, but I didn't really enjoy this and I'm honestly never gonna reread it. If I thought I would ever build a Stephen King collection, I might keep it, but to be honest, I don't think that is what I'm going to do, so in the pile. Next is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. So this is I think a YA fantasy series, I'm honestly not even sure, about this old orphanage for like magical children. I know that this is a really well-loved series, but at this point it is so low on my priority list to start. I'm also not even sure if it's going to be something I would enjoy. So I think if I'm going to start the series, I'm going to get it from the library, and if I'm wrong and this ends up being one of my favorites, I can go back and deal with it then, but at this point, this is not something I think I'm gonna read anytime soon. Okay, next. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. So I got this whole trilogy used because I knew it was a very popular YA fantasy series and I was trying to catch up with like a lot of books that I had missed. I've read the first two, I gave the first one 3 stars, I gave the second one 2 stars, and at this point I have no urge to go through and finish this last one. I haven't heard a lot of convincing arguments that this is gonna like blow me away or get better or change my opinions that I've had on the beginning of the series. So I don't think I'm going to want to keep this. Part of me wants to go ahead and finish off the series, but honestly I can just get the last one from the library and say I finished it without having to actually keep books that I wasn't a fan of. Not to mention, these are extremely ugly. The new covers are beautiful. These are not. Next is Buddha Mind, Buddha Body by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is a book I was gifted at some point. It is a lot about mindfulness and creativity, and I am interested in this on a surface level, but I'm not reading as much nonfiction as I used to, and honestly, if I'm gonna read nonfiction, I have a bunch of other ones I would rather get to. I honestly have other books on this topic that I think I would read before this one, so I think somebody else could get more out of this than I would. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. So this is a adult thriller that I read a couple years ago. I think I technically gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but honestly this was like a 3 to maybe even 2-star book for me. Like I didn't know how to rate books back then, but like looking back on this, it was fine. I am not that into thrillers, it's not really my genre, and this is one that, again, I think I was maybe gifted or found used. I don't remember. I didn't intentionally buy this at any point. But I don't really see a reason to reread a lot of thrillers because I know the twist, especially, and this isn't one I want to keep around and like let people borrow as one that I really love and want to like spread around. So there it goes. Ah, it's all falling apart. In the same vein, we have Final Girls by Riley Sagar. This is another thriller. I think this is kind of like a slasher one that talks about the trope of like the final girl. This is one that I haven't actually read. I found it used for dirt cheap. Once again, maybe I should stop buying books used that I don't actually think I'm gonna read. Like maybe that's the answer. If I were to read thrillers, I don't think I'm gonna buy them. I think I'm gonna get them from the library. because I don't think I'll ever really reread them. And if I were going to read Riley Sager, I've heard that this is like not even one of the more well-loved ones of theirs, so I just don't see a reason to keep this. Same with You by Caroline Kepnes. So this is another adult thriller that's written in second person from the perspective of a stalker, so it sounds like he's stalking you the entire time. And I did not really like this. I think I gave it 2 stars. Same deal. The next one is Stolen Innocence by Mary Ann Broberg. This was my mom's pick for our book club, and all of these tabs are things I wanted to rant about. I hated this book. This is 1 star. This is like the only book I've ever given 1 star. It is the true story of this woman whose daughter was abducted, except that like it's so sketchy and just it's poorly written and just bad. I just didn't like this, and all of these are rant tabs, so I really don't see a reason to have it on my shelf other than to commemorate the books I read with my mom and my sister, which I do kind of want to do, but I need to get rid of some of these. If I change my mind and keep them, I'll have to buy a new box. Next is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I bought this a long time ago, I think, because I read Tuesdays with Maury in high school, and I really enjoyed it at the time. It was like one of my favorite books that we read in high school, so I was like, oh, I'll get another one by that author. But at this point, my reading tastes have changed dramatically, and I just don't see myself caring about this one at all, basically. Next is The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. This is a literary fiction novel, I think. I don't really know what this is about. It's pretty. I don't need it. End of story. Next is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So this is a classic that is such a pretty cover. Like, it's gorgeous. I didn't like this book. And I was keeping it around to like fill out my bookshelves, but at this point, like, I'm never gonna reread it. I didn't really enjoy it. It's pretty, but I'm out of space, so there it goes. Alright, I'm saving the spiciest 2 for last, and that is gonna be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I read I bought this new because I was so sure I was gonna love it. I read it this year. I gave it 2 stars. I was pretty disappointed with this book. I felt like it was very surface level. It didn't go nearly as deep on any of the topics as it could have, in my opinion, and I think it would have been a lot more interesting if it had. I love the premise of this, and I think a lot of people have been loving this book, so honestly, giving this away is probably one of the best things I can do, because I'm sure there are a ton of people who are going to love this and get a lot out of it based on the reviews it's getting. I'm just not one of them, and I don't see a reason for me to hang on to a new nice hardback of it. And the very last one that I think I'm getting rid of, I'm a little bit torn on it, is the novelization of the Star Wars trilogy by George Lucas. I'm torn because this is the prettiest book I own. Like, it is gorgeous. Shiny silver sprayed edges. The prettiest end pages, just of all time. The back of it, the front of it, the spine, everything is absolutely gorgeous. Like, come on now, it's even got one of the ribbon bookmark things. But I can tell you right now, I don't think I'm ever gonna read this book. I've had it for like at least 6 years, and I just don't see it happening, and it makes me sad because it's so pretty. And honestly, out of all the ones in this Unhaul, this is the one I might change my mind on, but if I do get rid of it, I'm giving it to my roommate, so that's good. But it's huge, it's heavy, and I don't think I'm gonna read it, so I'm only keeping it because it's pretty, and on the slim chance I might get the urge to read it someday, I don't think I need to keep it. Okay, I'm not gonna hold them all up because they're stacked terribly, and I'm tired of lifting things today, to be honest. But it looks like I managed to unhaul 22, I think? 22 books, which is honestly so much more than I thought. I thought I was gonna like maybe get 10, but I was way more ruthless when I actually had to start putting them in boxes and moving the boxes and lifting the boxes. I didn't want them anymore. I'm actually really sad to see them go, even though I literally just gave you the reasons I'm not going to keep all of them, and they're good reasons, and I'm proud of myself for doing this, but I'm still sad, because like, what if I read them someday? But regardless, all the book boxes, they're taped shut, so we're done. Okay, so I think that's all I've got. I would say, tell me down below if there's any of these that you think I'm wrong about and I absolutely should keep, but honestly, by the time you're seeing this, I will have already gotten rid of them, and everything will be in a U-Haul, so don't do that because it'll just make me wish I had kept them. So thank you guys for hanging out while I got everything packed. It made this a lot more bearable, but I think that's all I've got for you guys today. If you want to keep up with what I'm reading, I have a link to my Goodreads down in the description below, but other than that, I'll see you guys next time.